things I sacrificed to build a multiple six-figure business before 30. Yes, that is what I'm going to be talking about today. This video may not be too popular because I'm going to tell you some things that I did, some things that worked for me, and some things that you can consider doing if this is one of your goals. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the video, and I'll talk to you a little bit about what I do if you don't already know. So I've got my phone instead of my laptop today, and the first thing that I sacrificed was time, right? And I know you probably hear all the time, and never trade your time for money, and never do this, and balance, and work-life balance, and and all of that is true to an extent, right? When you are first starting a business, when you are first going on your entrepreneurial journey, and yes, this includes influencers and people who want to be full-time content creators, because that is still a business. Your content creation, when you're trying to get those brand deals, that is still a business. So whether it be an online business, or regular business, or content creation, whatever, it's still the same thing. In the beginning, you will be trading your time for money to an extent, right? And what I mean by that is you are going to be putting in more time as it compares to the amount of money that you make, because you are just getting started. You're not going to all of a sudden start and just be able to sell 50,000 books with no time and effort put into it. That's just not going to happen, right? You're not going to be able to just get 100 clients right off the bat without putting in 100 hours of work, right? And so in the beginning, it is your time, it will be a sacrifice, right? And I was working full-time when I started my business, and I still am working full-time as an attorney while running my business, and understand that meant that I was putting in 60 to 80 hour work weeks, right? Potentially plus, because I have my full-time job, which is a lot of hours, if you know anything about that. And then running my business with more hours on top of that. So I would be waking up early to work on my business, working on my business at lunch, and then in the in-between time when I could. And then when I got home, working on my business right up until I went to bed at 10 or 11 p.m., right? So to build a business, you have to be willing to do that sacrifice, right? When people say like, oh, I made so much money only working 2 hours a week, 4 hours a week. Sure, but what was the work that went in before that became a reality for you? How much time did you spend to get to that six figures before you were able to work 4 hours a week? Now, can I say now that, I maybe put in on my business 10 hours a week and I have multiple 5-figure, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60K months? Yes, but was it like that in the beginning? Absolutely not, right? I was hustling, babe, okay? And then, so when you're talking about balance, and when you're talking about hitting these big goals, hitting these multiple 6-figure years in your business, then understand that it is a sacrifice that you are putting in on the front end to make that a reality, because it's not just going to come to you easily. So that's definitely something that I sacrifice to build a multiple 6-figure business. The second thing was caring about other people's opinions. Woo! The sooner you let this one go, the sooner you will see your business succeed. Because in this day and age, social media is almost pertinent and just imperative for your business. Yes, you can have a business that succeeds and thrives offline. So just solely, through normal contact, through day-to-day interactions, through reaching out in person. Yes, you can. But I firmly believe that if you want to reach thousands of people, millions of people even, then the way to do that is in the online space. You can do some combination of the two, because the reality is some people aren't out there every day. Some people aren't out there, executives, clients, whoever it is you're trying to reach. While you can potentially reach them in person, if the person who is going to be that dream client or that dream brand or that dream business person is out in California and you live over in New York on the East Coast, you're probably not interacting with them on person, but you can reach them online, right? And so the way to reach these people online is you have to be present, you have to be seen, you have to be public. And so you have to stop caring about other people's opinions, because that is only holding you back. So I stopped caring. Honestly, I think part of the reason I was able to do this so quickly was because I had started posting on social media just because I loved doing it, like on Instagram, just posting pictures of myself all the time, not really caring, or just at least preparing myself to not care for when I eventually launch my business, which is my law school coaching business. And so people are going to leave you negative comments. Listen, you're not posting for them. You're posting for the people who do support you, for the people who are interested in you. And your tribe is out there. And the only way they're going to find you is if you're posting. And so the sooner you can let go of those negative comments and either delete them or block them or leave them there because it's boosting your engagement, you have to stop caring. When I get a negative comment, I see it, I laugh, or I just see it, ignore it. Like I really don't care anymore. Like the time that someone spends to hate on you is more a reflection of how they feel about themselves than it is a reflection on you. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you'll be able to elevate to the next level. The third thing was partying. So this kind of coincides with that first thing when I was talking about time, right? I would spend tons of time building this business to where I have it and where I can plan to continue to build it to, but also more so like when you're in your 20s, a lot of people are going out every weekend, going out every night, just having tons of fun. And while I did do that in college, yes, and even did that in law school, after I graduated, I really didn't do that unless it was a special occasion. So like a friend's birthday, for instance, or a wedding or whatever it may be. But other than that, the extent of my partying was going out to dinner with my boyfriend on the weekends, right? On Friday and Saturday, because what that partying is doing is it really takes you out for 2 to 3 days, because it's the night you go party, it's the next 2 days potentially that you're recovering when you're not able to succeed at your 100% capacity. I've seen this. I've literally seen it because I have offered people things and opportunities to work with me and had to unfortunately not give them that opportunity because they instead chose to go party instead of do this thing that I needed to get done, right? And so if you're willing to sacrifice that, again, that's more time that you're devoting to yourself to invest in building up your business and making more money, because not all the time is it necessarily directly income producing activities, which is where a lot of your time will be spent in the beginning, but also to learning, right? So business education. So I was reading books, I was listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, listening to audiobooks, the whole nine, right? I was doing all those things, and that takes time. Like, you can't listen to an 18-hour audiobook in 2 hours, okay? And so again, like just finding different ways to give yourself your time back. The other thing that I sacrificed was taking advice from unqualified people. If I had listened to everyone who wanted to give me advice when I was starting the business and people who had no little 2 cents to input when I was starting the business, I most certainly would not have made the amount that I would have made, because ultimately the people who cannot help you get to where you want to go are not people who you should be listening to. And you can determine who those people are by looking at what their lifestyle looks like. If they're not living a lifestyle that you would be happy to live, you probably shouldn't be taking advice from them, because they clearly can't even apply it in their own life. If they don't have a business that's working for them, or they don't have something that, if they're offering you, for example, advice on marketing, but their marketing for themselves suck, then you probably shouldn't be taking advice from them. If they're offering you advice on sales, but their sales sucks for themselves, they couldn't even sell, their whole process, their system sucks, you probably shouldn't take sales advice from them. What I'm trying to say here is betting who you were taking advice from and not taking advice from unqualified people. So someone who's poor, I would never take advice from in how to make money in my business, because you're poor, And so what I'm saying here is I quickly had to learn who I could take advice from, who I could ask for advice with my business. And yeah, sometimes that meant, indirectly hurting people's feelings, right? Because I had to say, thank you, but no thank you. So, right? That's just something that you're gonna have to do when you're really trying to elevate to the next level, and make sure that you're curating who you're taking your advice from. And you could take advice from people on YouTube. There are plenty of qualified people on YouTube, including me, so watching this video, but there's tons of people I follow on YouTube and whose channels I really like. So Myron Golden is one, for example, who's videos I watch religiously, every morning when I'm getting ready. And so there are tons of people, so it doesn't have to be someone you know personally. You can take advice, like I said, from YouTube videos, from audiobooks, from podcasts, different things along those lines. The next thing that I sacrificed was money, Okay, so yes, to build a multiple six-figure business, you are going to have to invest. You are going to have to make investments in your business. So for example, when you're first starting out, do you need a website? Probably not immediately, but if you eventually want to get to that six-figure level, you're going to need a website, okay? The next thing that you're going to need is a proper newsletter, right? A way to collect leads, a way to bring them into your newsletter list, because you don't want to keep them on your social media, because social media can go away at any point in time, and you're not in control of that. So you want something you're in control of. So you're going to need to pay for a service that offers that functionality. I have a whole video up already on like tools and resources I recommend for business owners, and I talk about the email list you should use, I talk about the payment processor you should use, but ultimately you're going to have to invest money. Also, when you're hitting this level, you're going to have to invest in help. So I have an assistant who helps me with all of my, handles all of the social media DMs and messages and comments, who handles all of the email, who handles all of the administrative tasks. Taking things off of your plate that you do not need to handle is ultimately what's going to allow you to scale and make more money. The other type of help I have is a YouTube editor, video editor. I don't edit my own videos because that would take too much of my time. So once you are scaling, it's again making investments that you need to give yourself your time back to solely focus on the things that will allow you to make money. Okay. The final thing that I sacrifice to building a multiple six-figure business before 30 is absolutely, I don't know how to say this. I don't want to say relationships, because it's not relationships in general, but it's spending excessive time with a bunch of people who aren't necessarily important to your personal life growth, right? So I spent time with my boyfriend, of course, but other than him, my time with everyone else was definitely limited, okay? Because if you're spending 2 hours with your friends and then 3 hours partying on the weekend and then going out to dinner every single night with 4 and 5 different friends, that time adds up. That's about 10 to 20 hours if you're going out every single night. And then if you're spending your weekends out, that time ends up adding up, and that could be time that you're spending working to build your business. So I remember when I was first starting, my weekends, for the most part, it would be all of Saturday, like 8 hours spent on my business. It would be nights during the week spent on my business. So again, just thinking about how this again kind of relates to time, but thinking about where you need to give yourself your time back so that you can build this business. I just want to again go back to this piece, because I think a lot of people talk about how hustle culture is bad and how hustle culture is going to kill you or whatever it may be. Understand that the people who have seen high levels of success they're not coming by that because they aren't putting in the work necessary to get there. I think hustle culture kind of got this bad connotation, but ultimately there's an end point, right? So hustling in the beginning is so that you don't have to hustle past a certain age. Ultimately, the goal is in the beginning is to work for your money and then to make your money work for you. But you have to have that money in the first instance for your money to work for you. So you're taking that money that you're making and you're putting it into investments, whether it be real estate, whether it be the stock market, whatever it may be, or you're taking that audience that you built up and the things that you put in on the front end, because you spent the time doing so, into products that give you recurring revenue. So whether it be a YouTube channel, whether it be a book deal, writing a book, whether it be a digital product, right? Doing these things and then creating funnels that bring people into those products and to those lines. And so you have this recurring line of revenue. That takes time. That takes time and effort to build up, right? And if you don't do it on the front end, then you're just going to continue working for the rest of your life. Whereas if you do it on the front end, you can relax much later. And now, of course, all of this is definitely what you should be thinking about if you want to figure out how you can build a six-figure business, how you can build up what you determine to be, how you want your life to look like in the future. I know, at least for me, in 20 years, I don't plan to be working. Well, I probably will, because that's who I am, but I will be working on my own terms, how I want to work, if I want to work, when I want to work, and where I want to work. And that is because of what I have been doing now. And of course, like I said, all these things were things that I sacrificed in the beginning and are not necessarily things that I have to continue to sacrifice. So that's how you should be approaching it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments below what other types of videos you would like, or which one of these tips you found to resonate with you you the most. You can follow me on my personal social media at Sephora Gray, SYRESQ for short, or if you're a law school applicant or law school student, at Topping the Curve on all social media, toppingthecurve.com for coaching. I will see you guys in my next one. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.